Good almost afternoon. Boy, I'm getting later and later every day, aren't I? So as you guys know, or maybe don't know, I don't know, I have a few subdivisions that I'm working on right now. And so I get to talk to a lot of people that are building homes, and most of them have never built a home before. And I like to bring up things that they probably have not thought about. So there's a lot of little nuances that when you're out there driving through a subdivision or looking at lots that you may not even consider. It's one of those things like, you only know what you know. You don't know what you don't know. That's the actual saying. I love that saying. Think about that one. You don't know what you don't know. So I'm going to open my folder because I tend to be reminded of these things. It's only a mental list that I'm keeping on these. So one thing when going through a subdivision or looking at lots that you may not think about is the orientation of the lot and the orientation of how a house would sit on a lot and how the sun travels. So right now it's winter, so the sun is at a lower angle in the sky. So it's hard to judge right now, but you know, in the summertime, it's almost directly above. So it's something that I like to point out to people that are looking at, for instance, one of my subdivisions, the sun rises definitely on one side and sets definitely on the other. So if you want afternoon sun in your backyard, you want to be on the left side of the street, which is also why I have sold almost every single lot on the left side of the street, except for one. Something else, this is actually kind of funny. Something else, so we tried to keep these lots, I mean, obviously they're above the minimum lot size for that zone, but I don't know if I have another sheet in here that shows it, but they vary in size. And here's an example. You can see here that lot 11 is clearly a different size than lots 10 and 12. And the reason, but they're all the same price. Actually, 10 is a little bit more expensive, but that's because it's close to the cul-de-sac. But they're all the same price, all three of these lots. And the reason, even though this one's smaller and these ones are bigger, is the building envelope. So you can see on that we've got wetlands, we've got buffered areas, we've got swales, and a lot of different basically water management areas here, but lot 11 doesn't have that. So that's why it's a smaller lot for the same price. You're not dealing with wetlands and whatnot. You have basically the same building envelope. Brings me to building envelopes. Wesley, that is a great point, to make sure that the driveway is going to have sun so it doesn't ice up in the winter. Awesome point. So, you know, and the driveway, you know, on these ones will have sun at different points during the day, but this, like Halflinger, the sun literally rises in the east, as it turns out, which is one side of the street, and crosses right over the top to the west. So when you're looking at lots, there are setbacks. So depending on what zone you're in, you have to stay within this little envelope. You can't just put the house willy-nilly wherever you want it. Something else that you don't see on this, because this is not topo, but the topo version of this, which I don't have printed out right now, will show the degradation line. So it shows the elevation of the land. One side of my subdivision, you can have a slab or you can have a basement, but not a daylight walkout basement. The topography just doesn't make that happen. The other side of the subdivision, the other side of the road, it has to be a daylight walkout basement. And that's because the subdivision is literally, you can't perceive it by looking out and looking at it, but it's like on a hill. And so when you've got downward sloping in the backyard, that's where you have a daylight walkout basement. That changes the price of the house. So a daylight walkout basement is actually an upgrade. There's more to it. There's more things that need to happen. There's whatever, more concrete involved, doors, windows, etc. So that is more expensive to build. So keep that in mind. I'm trying to think of other things that come up that people are like, oh, generally the closer you are to a cul-de-sac or in a cul-de-sac, the more expensive the lot. All right, that's all I'm coming up with for now. But so just some things to keep in mind when you're building. Also, well, here's another thing that some people think about, some people don't. A lot of people, everybody wants privacy. They all want privacy. Nobody wants to be on top of each other. Some people want really long driveways. Great, you can totally do that, tuck your house way in the back. Just know that that is going to increase the cost of the home, because not only is it site work to get just to bring in the driveway, but you've got the cost of the utilities. So you're bringing sewer, you're bringing water, you're bringing your power, all of those things. Every foot is another lineal foot of charges. Yeah, that was one of the other things. And then another thing when placing your house is, this cat loves the tripod, is that, so we've got some wetlands. I mean, you're going to find wetlands everywhere. It doesn't mean it's in a flood zone. It just means that there's wetlands and we have to preserve that. It's really important for the environment. But the lowest point of your house, so your footings can't be below the wetlands. So that dictates where on the lot the house can sit also. So just because you have got a building envelope that says this, it doesn't necessarily mean that the house can be anywhere in that envelope. It also has to do with what your wetlands look like. So that's all I have for you today. Some things to keep in mind. I am down to 4 lots, and I swear to God, I have people fighting over these 4 lots right now. It's like, who's gonna get me their reservations first? New construction is doing really well right now. I've had no slowdown. If anything, I've gotten really, really busy with it. So it's a great time to build a house. Great time to build a house in Berwick, I'll tell you that. If I were building a house right now, that is exactly where I would be. That's all I have for you today. You guys have a great weekend. I finally get to go dancing again tonight. I was supposed to dance 3 times this week. I've been sick all week. I'm at 95% today, so I'm going. Have a great, safe weekend. If you need anything real estate wise, shoot me a message, give me a call, 207-251-9535.